W0TX repeater.
Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for June 12th, 2024. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. Sorry about that. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie K1 DBC, and my name is Daron Delta Oscar Romeo Oscar November. I'm this evening's net control. Last week, let's see, what did we discuss last week? ARL systems disruptions, ongoing saga with Ed Reed and his radio. We're trying to work that out. Let's see, we discussed our recent event for siren testing and had to follow up on that. Appreciated that. What else? Different weather and a lot more. But we'll be talking about that, as well as taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more this evening. I do have an air conditioner running in my background, so I do apologize. If it is too noisy, let me know, and I will shut that off. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can contact us via email. Plenty of email addresses over on our website, w0tx.org/officers. You can view email addresses and phone numbers, contacts for plenty of people. Usually it's our call sign at w0tx.org, but we also have Elmer at w0tx.org if you'd like to get a hold of us that way. We're also on most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to view and participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics, for the call sign at least, and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. You can follow along with the check-in process at w0tx.org/check-in. We'll start taking check-ins if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, Please check in now.
November 0, Mike Tango Lima, Micah and Thornton. K0 GPA, Bob in Lakewood.
Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo, Ken in Lakewood.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Hold up there for a moment. Hopefully I didn't just step on someone there, but Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. N0MTL Micah, K0 GPA Bob, and KE0 Alpha Bravo Ken. Thank you all so much for checking in here. All right, one more call. If your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, and you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have traffic or questions, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, A through M, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
WD0 CID, WD0 CID, Charleston, Denver. No traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, in that time we had WD0 CIV Charles and KF0 FPI Ron. Thank you both for checking in. We will go ahead and open it up to the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, let us know your call sign, your name, and again, if you have any traffic or questions, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Charlie Uniform, Rob in Thornton.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KE0SUM, Jonathan, KB3VCU, Rob, and N0TRP, Jim. Thank you all so much for checking in here. One more time, if your call suffix, or excuse me, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. We have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is about an hour-long meeting. So we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please check in now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Quebec Golf Zulu, Aaron in Inglewood.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Net Control, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-in. KF0QGZ. Aaron, thank you so much for calling in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I see you're also calling in, Aaron there from Inglewood, but it's quite a big city. So yeah, I'm at Hamden and a different part of town. But yeah, great, glad to see another Inglewood call in there. This is K1 DBC Net Control.
It's like Dub Valley, Centennial, Inglewood-ish, right?
Sorry, that was a little bit broken up there, but yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling in here. Great call sign. Good to hear you in there. New call, Aaron. Glad to hear you in there as well. KF0QGZ. So thanks for joining our net here this evening. If you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to let us know.
Awesome, I appreciate that, man. I'm a new ham, so I'm full of full of questions, I feel.
Excellent. Sounds good. We are here to help and have answered a lot of these questions a lot over time, so I'm sure we have a lot of knowledge. So, yeah, just listen in. This is an hour long, and if anything jogs the mind, don't hesitate to jump in. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. One more call. Anyone else? All call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have traffic or questions, please call now. All right, this is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, Net Control, K1 DBC for the W0TX Learning Net. We have plenty of time here, usually until 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, so we'll take check-ins officially throughout the net, but I didn't see anybody indicated they had any traffic or questions, but if any has any comments or questions or any other further check-ins at the moment, otherwise I can kind of recap what we talked about last week or follow up on some of those things, but anyone else at the moment, please call now.
Whiskey's Westminster, calling in late.
I think I might have stepped on somebody.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. No problem, Jonathan SUM. We'll get back to you here in just a few minutes. But there was somebody else trying to check in, I think, from Westminster. Go ahead and try once more, please.
Whiskey Zero Alpha Whiskey Sierra, Albert in Westminster, calling in late.
No problem at all, Albert. W0AWS. Not at all too late. This is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, so this is, again, welcome to this evening's Learning Net. Looks like Jonathan SUM maybe had something. KE0 SUM, the net is yours.
Good evening, Drone. Thanks for hosting the net. I think I might have asked this question in the past, but it crosses my mind quite a bit because I'm preparing to do the Mount Evans. I'm helping with communications on Mount Blue Sky, formerly Mount Evans. They have a foot race from 10,000 feet up to the top, 14,000 plus. But I go and I take a high-powered VHF radio, 2980, and I have gone strictly battery for most of my portable operations. I have several Bioenno batteries in different amperage ratings. I use them for QRP, some POTA work, and this. I was wondering how many people use batteries on a regular basis as opposed to hooking up to your car battery. KE0 SUM.
And MTL.
KM4CFT.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Great question there. It sounds like we have a couple of people following up, maybe Micah MTL and another Jonathan. I'll get you checked in here again as well. HF mobile radio setups and using a separate battery other than your car. So MTL, the net is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, I use a 12 amp hour Bioenno battery. I have a 3 amp hour Bioenno battery, but I use that one just for QRP. But the 12 amp hour I use for my 7300 and my, I should say 49 amp, or my Icom 7000. I recently got a little solar charge controller, and I have a set of solar panels I throw out now to kind of extend my time. It's not enough solar to run indefinitely and definitely not overnight, but I can get several hours out of that battery without recharging. But yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Thanks for the follow-up there, Micah and Zero MTL. I'm not sure if it's the repeater or whatnot, but you're coming in a bit scratchy there. It's readable, but quite scratchy, so just keep that in mind. So this is K1DBC Net Control, and then we had KM4CFT. Jonathan, if you had a follow-up on that, go right ahead.
This is KM4CFT. I actually have a couple of battery options at my disposal, and it really depends on what type of activation I'm doing and what radio I'm using. I have a lot more options for QRP radios because most of my radio setup that I take with me is QRP. I have a Bioenno 3 amp hour, a 6 amp hour. I've also got an eco-worthy 20 amp hour. The eco-worthy 20 amp hour is what I typically use when I'm doing like 100 watts or something more powerful. Another option, this is one that I don't have yet, but I'm supposed to be receiving at the end of this week. I'm receiving a Denko 5.5 amp hour battery, and that one is going to have an advantage of, with the Denko batteries, have the advantage that they can have a higher current draw. So if you're planning on taking something like an IC 7300 up to a Summit for some reason, then that one would be your best bet. It would allow you to do high power for a short period of time. Also, if you want something, a little bit smaller and don't want to spend a ton of money, there are these batteries. You can get them for about $30. They're called Talent Cells. I believe they're 3 amp hour. That's what I typically use with like my QMX or any system that doesn't like 13.8 and like something like 12 or under. So it's really great for like the mountain toppers and stuff like that. But that's pretty much all I got. Back to net, KM4 CFT.
So Micah, with new QRP radios, I have a G90 and an X6100. I've been using a 6 amp Bioenno, and then I have another 12 amp. But how do you like your 3 amp? Does that last pretty well?
Zero MTL. Yeah, I have an FT818 that I use for QRP. I sat out there for a couple hours. Talked on it the entire time. I was running dry. I really didn't have a way to voltage on it out, but it never slid on me, so I don't know exactly how much of it I was using. And Jerome, sorry about the noise. I am on an HT and I'm out walking the dog, so I'm trying to keep the heart rate up and running my face on the microphone.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. No problem, MTL, Micah. That last transmission was a little bit worse than to begin with, but not a problem. We got you in there, MTL. So thanks for the follow-up on there. Jonathan, SUM, if you have any other follow-up or comments or questions on that, go right ahead.
No, I just find using batteries, I use them portable a lot, and the Bioennos hold their charge for so long, such an even charge before it drops out. If you're only going to transmit for a couple hours or so, they're going to last a long time. So Yeah. I think it beats sometimes wiring to your battery because I don't have a permanent VHF installation in the car. I used to use an HT in the cup holder, which worked fine with the mag mount, and then I use one on the seat next to me because nobody sits there. But yeah, I think batteries are a great way to go. Plus, any power outage, there you go. We're ham radio operators. Hardly any of our stuff actually works on AC.
Whiskey Zero Alpha Whiskey Sierra here. Everything you want to know about batteries is online in a place called batteryuniversity.com. So there's all these different things you need to know about lead acid if you really care about it. It's temperature, variations, and capacity, and number of times you can recharge it, depth of discharge and the life of the battery, amp hour capacity, and how to determine how long things run. Most of that is all covered there, so just thought I'd bring that up. Over.
AWS, this is a K1DBC net control. Awesome research there, Albert, W0AWS, batteryuniversity.com. Quite a lot of info, introduction, crash course, battery types, lots of articles here, discharge methods, charging methods, battery testing and monitoring, how to prolong battery life from birth to retirement, smart batteries, amazing values of them, information, learning tools, plenty of information. Great tool here, batteryuniversity.com. Really appreciate you bringing that up here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Appreciate everyone's follow-up there. KM4CFT, Jonathan, N0MTL Micah, W0AWS Albert, thank you so much for following up there. And SUM for bringing up that question. Seems like it piqued a lot of interest here for people. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else on mobile operations using a separate battery other than your car battery, or what sort of batteries you would use, portable operations, or anything else on that? Go right ahead.
Yeah, last night, Dorona was on another net, and I was talking to Rob, KT4ZGK, and he was going out to do the QRP net for field day in Strasbourg. So we talked a bit about that, and everyone on their own is on their own for power. So I guess they take trailers and things. So I didn't mention generators, but I gather most people were going to use a battery, and of course they were a QRP, so we talked about the disadvantages of field day with QRP. KE0SUM, back to them.
Gotcha. Sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different solutions for a lot of different options and a lot of different things out there for different people. So your mileage may vary on different options people may recommend, and something may work better for you than someone else, depending on how you're using it and all those things. So excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else on that? This is K1DBC Net Control. Go right ahead.
Zero Alpha Whiskey Sierra here. Does anyone have any input in terms of EMI generated by external gasoline or diesel generators and being used for power supply, maybe at night? Over.
Jerome, can you relay, or caller, could you say it a little louder?
Sure. This is W0AWS. I was wondering if anybody had any insight in using a generator to power your system during a night operation of a field day or something like that. Because I know there's quite a bit of EMI generally put out due to the spark plugs, and the generators generally aren't so well insulated in terms of keeping out the noise. If anyone has any information or references to what would be a good generator, I'd appreciate it. Over.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control.
W0TX repeater.
Great question. Talking about field day, we often use Honda or other diesel generators, and we definitely keep them at a distance from our radios. But surprisingly, electromagnetic interference, we haven't really talked about that in terms of diesel generators and either field day or other mobile operations usage from using those. So yeah, anyone on that, go right ahead.
Gee, Jerome, I thought that'd be right up your alley. DRC's field day. You guys don't use any generators when you set up there in Nevada?
We do. We use several diesel generators. Yes, we keep them at a distance, but surprisingly, this question hasn't come up before. But yeah, we do use diesel generators. Doesn't seem to affect a lot. I don't know specifics, but we do use them. But yeah, I'm not too sure on how they affect any signals. But anyone else on that, go ahead.
But you know how many outputs there are? How this power is being driven to the radios?
I think there was a double in there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I think we had WD0CIV Charles and then SUM. Jonathan, I'll get back to you here in a second. Sorry about that. I think CIV Charles, go right ahead if that was you.
Alrighty, this is WD0CIV. Now, what I do with running the generator, first off, I get a generator that has not just a generator, it's an inverter. It's built-in inverter. And if you read up on that, you'll know why. And then what you do is you take the power from that to a regular power supply that supplies 12 volts of electricity. And you put that on to your battery, and then the battery is hooked to the radio. So the actual power supply and the battery will act like a filter so you don't get any line noise or power supply noise coming in through the actual power line. And then, like everybody was saying, you keep it as far away as you can possibly do, which is depends on how long your extension cord is, whether it's 50 feet, 25 feet, or 100 feet, whatever. Anyway, that's all I know. And I don't remember if the DRC generators, I know they're big. They're like 4K or 5K generators. And I never actually remember looking at them to see if they had the word inverter written on the side of it. Anyway, this is WD0CIV. We're going to go ahead and turn it back to net control. Take it over, Jerome.
All right, sounds good. Thanks there, CIV Charles. Really do appreciate the follow-up on that. A little bit of a faint signal, but I got you in there, Charles. This is K1 DVC Net Control. The other, our diesel generators, we usually have them kind of off to the side, hidden a little bit, so they're because they are a little bit loud, just noise-wise as well. Yeah, I'm trying to find a photo or anything of that, but this is a K1 DBC Net Control. SUM, I think you also had to follow up on that. Go right ahead.
I think my problem is I always work on field day, so I haven't experienced one in a long time. So it's like, okay, you've got the generators, which I think is interesting since when I was talking to Rob the other night, he said they used to stay up on field day. They'd get up, start, and stay up all night looking for people to do like the 1 to 4 a.m. shift or something. But they're super competitive. I personally like my sleep, but field day's an interesting experience because you've got the generators, but everybody comes out and they have their campers, so they're not tapping into your generator, but it's interesting. I hope to do one someday. KE0SUM back in cut.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the follow-up there. Yeah, absolutely. It's we maybe have a fewer people this year, a little bit from what I'm hearing, but still plenty of good turnout we'll have, I'm guessing. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, lots of field days around the area, so ours will be just one of them. Again, we haven't really talked about field day too much, but the 22nd and 23rd over on our website, w0tx.org/field day, more information on that. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on the topic of diesel generators, noise generation, EMI? Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned there, Jonathan, as well, all-night events. People run these all night as long as they don't run out of fuel. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that or anything else, please call now.
Good evening. The time is 8 p.m.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. There we have the most expensive talking clock, our repeater. So this is K1 DBC Net Control, 8 p.m. here. We have another 30 minutes. I'll take this opportunity to take check-ins if you're just tuning in, or if you or anything else. This is K1 DBC. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning, a great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo 0, Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin, Lakewood, no traffic.
Alpha Echo 0, Romeo Kilo, Fred in Denver, no traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome knowledge of the following check-ins: K0 KPS Kevin and AE0 RK Fred. Thank you both very much for checking in. Once more, if you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
I have a question.
All right, sounds good. I'll take check-ins probably a couple more times throughout the net, but there was someone in there with a question. Go ahead, the net is yours.
Yeah, N0 MCL. I've gone out on a couple of POTA activations recently with some other operators, and even though we've had radios and antennas spaced pretty far apart, I've gotten bleed over from whatever it is they're doing, whether it's CW or sideband, and wondering if anybody has ever played with coax chokes and notch filters. I know there's bandpass filters that you can buy, but they're fairly expensive, and wanted to know if anybody's had any experience using those coax chokes and filters.
What kind of coax with what kind of filter?
I heard a podcast, it was probably about a year ago, I think. They were talking about coax chokes and notch filters made out of coax. I haven't done any research yet on it online to see how well that works, but yeah, it seems interesting, at least thought-wise anyway.
I think notch filters have been around for quite a while as coax filters, but I'll throw it back to the net. K0SUM, back to you, Jerome.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We have run into this exact same issue with our field day, stomping over each other, not on purpose, but just people just trying different bands, different things, not realizing how it affects things. But we are trying a solution this year. I'm trying to find it exactly, but as you mentioned, a combination of bandpass filters and I think a duplex or a triplex or things like that. We're trying a combination of trying to use one antenna for multiple radios, but it kind of also covers what you were talking about there. But I'm not too sure on the notch thing, but I'm trying to find our solution. But anyone else on that, go right ahead.
So, Daron, how many guys bring their own radios set up versus using the DRC setups?
Great question there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I wouldn't call it a bone of contention, but I'm on the side of let people bring in their equipment. I think we've tried to let people do that over the years, and we've run into different issues. What call signs they use. Some people have in the past brought in their own equipment, and as long as we're not interfering with each other, that's usually okay. But it's a very low number. Most people we're trying to encourage most people to use our equipment and our call signs, but we're operating in a fairly large area, so we have a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. But our radios are often unused as well, so keep that in mind. There's a lot of times during the day and night when our radios are not in use during field day. So, yeah, not many people bring their own equipment, but we certainly encourage it to test things and things like that. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Hopefully that answers that. If anybody else has anything on that or SUM, any follow-up, go right ahead.
Now, one more question. Nice video you have going on. You set up the big tower with the big jockey, so do you run anything over 100 watts? Does anybody do full legal limit?
I think 100 watts is what we've stuck with. I'm not sure we've done a kilowatt or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure everything we're doing is 100 watts maximum. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure all of our equipment is kind of normal off-the-shelf radios, and we're not boosting anything or amplifying anything. So just straight from the radio, 100 watts. This is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, so this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right. He may not be there a whole lot, but let me see. Let me drop for a moment. Blanking on the name, call sign Mark N0XRX. He lives pretty close to this area, so that's why we have chosen this the Prospect Arena. He may not be there a whole lot this year, but he is helping to set up a solution with bandpass filters and whatnot, and duplexers, triplexers. So this year we'll have slightly less equipment, but we'll be utilizing it a lot better than in the past, I think. So we'll be using our main beam antenna to feed 3 radios, I believe, at least, or 2 or 3 on separate bands, and we may have a one other antenna as well. But we're going to try to do a lot more with less this year. So this is K1 DBC Net Control.
TRP?
Yeah, N0 TRP. Go ahead.
This N0 TRP, just wanted to respond to that coax choke question. I wasn't sure exactly what the purpose was intended there, but I use a simple coax choke on my 20-meter dipole. It's just about 6-7 turns of coax and about 8 to 10 inch diameter right at the antenna feed point. Seems to work pretty well. So N0 TRP, back to net.
All right, sounds good. I think it was in context of operating in close proximity to other radio stations, other transceivers, and seeing if there's a possibility to use that as a solution to prevent bleed over from close enough bands or things like that. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I forget who asked that originally, but if you want to follow up or anyone else on that, go right ahead.
Yeah, this is N0 MTL. Yeah, I have the choke on my antenna feed line, the ferrite chokes, but we were still getting, like I said, bleed over when a couple of us were at the park. And I remember hearing something about this, and I'm looking at it now online. Notch filters made out of open-ended coax stubs. And I was wondering if anybody had used those, and were they any good? Is kind of what I was looking for.
Great question there, and yeah, better terminology maybe to look up to help with this. But a band reject filter using a coax choke or maybe open stubs. I may be looking at the wrong thing, conflating with something else. But anyone else on that? If you have any follow up, go ahead.
KM4 CFT.
Yeah, KM4 CFT. Go ahead.
This is KM4 CFT. I'm not much of an expert on band reject filters or notch filters. Honestly, it would really depend on how much bandwidth it's rejecting, and as also whether or not it's rejecting the areas that the other antenna is operating on. Because if you know they're operating on 20 meters or something, it's not going to make any difference. Or if it's not, or if it's a like super high Q notch filter, and they're not in that notch, then it's not going to make any difference either as well. Honestly, one other trick I know of is that you can use is if you have directional antennas, if they're not pointing at each other, that can help a little bit.
Yeah, we were on different bands. I mean, we tried spreading out all the bands and tried, non-harmonic bands and stuff like that. But and we were probably, I don't want to say 150 feet apart at least on the antennas, and probably at least 75 feet away on the stations, on the radios. And we had cars in between us, so it wasn't like there was an open, path between the two of us. So it was just something I thought about trying to see if it was worthwhile before I actually cough up the money on a true like manufactured bandpass filter.
Something else you could do is if you don't want to spend the money on a bandpass filter, you can always just make one. Honestly, bandpass filters can be a little bit iffy, especially compared to like low pass or high pass filters. But they're definitely not impossible to make, and if you've got an nano VNA, it wouldn't be terribly difficult to design one. The main expense would be finding some good quality capacitors for your bandpass filter, and I've been having to deal with this quite a bit because I've been designing bandpass filters for a radio I've been designing.
Excellent. Sounds good. This is K1DBC, net control. Thank you for the follow-up there, KM4CFT. Really do appreciate that. We also had KF0MCM online here mentioning it's pretty difficult to be heard over the noise with quick keys. Bandpass filter is not the same as a notch filter, so is his take here. So, it sounds like there's a lot to look up and research. There may not be a... what's the term? Smoking gun, if you will, solution. Otherwise, we may have already heard about it, but maybe a combination of different things. But it's a lot of opportunity for experimentation out there. So this is K1 DBC net control. MTL, Micah, your signal is a lot better now. Maybe you're more stationary now. But thanks for the question there. If you had any other follow up or anyone else, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
AE0RK with a question and a comment.
Yeah, AE0RK. Fred, go ahead.
Hey, I actually run into this fairly often with a fellow ham that's probably a little under a mile away from my house. And through ground wave propagation, if we're on the same band, we interfere with each other pretty badly. I think one of the times that we're able to mitigate this is by using FT8, and we can both transmit during the same time slot, and we're both receiving on the same time slot. So one of us is transmitting at the same time as the other, and thus not causing any interference to each other's reception. So that could work without any filters. And then my other question is, what type of radio are you using, and does it have any built-in bandpass filters?
Yeah, I have a IC 7300 and an ICOM 7000. They both have filtering on them. I'm not entirely confident I'm using them properly. I've tried messing with them a little bit. It's kind of hit or miss on if it makes a big enough difference. So I have tried it a little bit. Like I said, still learning that part of it, because normally I don't need to use those. So working on that, but I was, like I said, just checking to see if anybody had used the ones. We were up for that Saturday event where everybody came up and did POTA at Rocky Flats. And the guys up there had those purpose-built filters that they were using, and those seem to work pretty good, but they're several $100s per band, so I, wanted to see if there was a cheap way out first, but I guess there's never a good cheap way.
CAM4 CFT.
All right, thanks for the follow-up there. CFT, Jonathan, go ahead.
So, to give a little context, the IC7300 does have a bandpass filter. In fact, it's the only filter between the SDR, like demodulation. Basically, it's antenna, bandpass filter, and analog to digital converter, then the FPGA, and then that handles all the DSP and stuff. They drop real quick. The thing is that pretty much any decent radio is going to have a built-in, going to have a bandpass filter in it. The question is whether that bandpass filter is strong enough to actually reject anything outside that band, and you'll find that usually it's not good enough, and you want something a little bit more dedicated, something on the antenna line, to further reject the band, so further past the band you want and reject everything else and let it drop. But like I said, the ultimate solution, if you want to save money, is build it yourself. And there are designs online on how to creating the bandpass filter. There are also bandpass filter calculators online. And it's a fun project. It just requires a couple toroids, which you can get inexpensively at toroids.info. I think the toroids or kits and parts technically. And then you probably want to get yourself some silver mica capacitors for your capacitor line, and I think that Kits and Parts also sells those, but I'm not sure about that. But you could just use any high voltage capacitor. You just want the C0G line of those. Those would work really well, and that would get you a pretty good homebrew solution to your bandpass filter issue.
Never thought of looking at the filter kits. Checking that out now. Thanks.
I mean, that's the fun of it, isn't it? The fun of ham radio is getting to build your own stuff, and honestly, I think it's way more rewarding than operating itself.
Excellent. This is K1DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Someone was trying to call in there, but I couldn't get any of that. A lot of noise on your signal. If someone was just trying to call in, go right ahead once more. Let's see if we can get that real quick here. No. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Give me just a moment here. All right, sorry about that. This is K1DBC Net Control. I was trying to pick up that call. I think it was Hotel Papa India in Aurora, Kilo Charlie Zero Hotel Papa India. I think I'm missing something on that. Your signal is quite bad. If you want to try to reposition and try once more, sorry about that. But I got a little bit of it, but I don't think I got the full call sign. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I was trying to go back through the YouTube stream and listen to that one more time. It may have been HPS, Hotel Papa Sierra. I'm seeing Carol in Colorado Springs. Not too sure if that was the right call or if someone can translate better, but this is K1DBC Net Control. If you want to try once more, go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Do apologize about that. If anybody is trying to check in and you can't make the repeaters or we can't hear your call sign, you can always try to check in over our YouTube, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. Just type in your name or call sign and I can get you checked in there. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. We are live streaming. So sorry I couldn't get that call in there, but this is K1DBC Net Control. It is 8:20 p.m. We have another 10 minutes. I have plenty of things I can talk about. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
KS0E Mobile, just checking in.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think that was Alex, Kilo Sierra Zero Echo. It may have been Kilo Foxtrot Zero Echo, but I think I got you in there, Alex KS0E. If there's a correction needed, please let me know.
W0TX repeater.
Nope, you got it right. Thanks for checking me in.
Hey, Brian, thanks for checking in here. Sorry I couldn't hear you over there. If you don't let me know your call sign, I could put it in here. Otherwise, I can just log it as Brian. This is K1DBC Net Control. All right, we also had Brian checking in online, the Aurora station, KC8 HPS. So very close. I almost got that close. But KC8 HPS. Brian, thanks very much for checking in. So sorry we couldn't get you in there on the repeater, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put anything in the chat here. This is K1DBC Net Control. A couple things I missed last week I'd like to bring up real quick, and then I'll throw it back out to the net here. I just wanted to mention, I did mention this and I forgot to bring it up. We had KF0MCM. He had messaged me a couple of weekends ago. Let me drop here. He's showing a screenshot here. He made an Antarctic contact with the German station on Neumoyer station on 20 meters and 50 watts, negative 15 dB via gray line propagation via WhisperNet. So awesome to hear that. MCM Michael, I see online if you want to bring anything on that, or if you want to check in over the air here, go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All right, yeah, WhisperNet map. It's a great tool to use. He's referenced that here. WhisperNet.org, WSPR. Weak Signal Propagation Reporter Network. Great place to track your signals and see how far you got out there on different modes and things like that. So yeah, great to hear. He's from in Denver here and made contact, as mentioned, to Antarctica. So pretty cool contact there. This is K1DBC Net Control. Let me see. I have one more follow up here. If I can find it, let me drop for a moment. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Give me just one more moment here.
KE0 SUM question.
Yeah, SUM, Jonathan. While I look this up, the net is yours. Go ahead.
Well, I'm somewhat familiar with WhisperNet, but I'm not. I could look it up, but I'll ask you. How does WhisperNet work?
That is a great question. This is a K1 DBC Net Control. I don't know specifically. I imagine it's maybe just digital modes. Maybe it's also analog, but with digital modes that are used over the internet, it is much, much easier to track those and like FT8 and all the other digital signals. So it's much easier to do that. I forgot on WhisperNet if it's analog signals as well, but I think it might just be Whisper FTSW mode, it looks like. So I think it is probably a digital type mode that uses the internet to report who heard what and signals like that. I could be completely wrong. If someone else has anything on that, go right ahead.
AM4 CFT.
Yeah, CFT, go ahead.
So the WhisperNet is it's the Whisper version of what most people know as like the reverse beacon net and the PSK reporter. WhisperNet is specifically for Whisper, which is the weak signal propagation reporter. It was designed by Joe Taylor, K1JT, the same guy who invented JT65 and FT8 and all those. Go ahead, drop. It's very similar to FT8 and JT65. It was designed specifically for checking antenna propagation, and basically what you do is you transmit certain pieces of information, and then receiving stations report that information to WhisperNet, and you can see where you're heard. So what that says is that what it says is if he transmitted on Whisper and was heard somewhere in Antarctica.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Not sure if you had anything else on that CFT. It sounded like a quick drop there, but if you have anything else, go ahead.
Well, I'll just add one last thing. If you want to, you should definitely give it a shot. It's pretty easy to do. If you're able to do FT8, then you're already able to do Whisper. It's just when you check the modes in WSJTX, there should be an option for Whisper, WSPR. And all you do is just set that up, and it should run, and then you can go and just type in on Google WhisperNet, and you should be able to see where you were heard. And the cool thing is that you can check this over time, and it allows you to see in real time the changes in how the ionosphere is acting for that, which is what it was meant for. It's meant for analysis and stuff. To that.
All right, sounds good. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I had a sneaking suspicion it was very similar to that. So, yeah, as mentioned there, Jonathan, SUM, it uses all these digital protocols use the internet. So with that, it makes it much, much easier to show who you heard, who heard you, how far your signal went, things like that. So, like the reverse beacon network or the others mentioned there, PSK reporter and others. Great options out there for tracking your signals, understanding what the propagation looks like, and things like that. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Let's see, I did find what I was looking for here. Just at the end of the last net, I had mentioned about a... how did I just lose it? Too many windows open. This is K1 DBC Net Control, a Senate bill that was recently passed, or updated really, for mobile radio operations for most people, most citizens. As mentioned, you can't use your cell phone, things like that, when you're driving, essentially is what it comes down to. It was originally a bill designed for people 18 and under, and it's now been updated to be people older than 18 as well. I was asking about maybe if ham radio operators are exempt, and I could have just clicked on the link, view recent bill text. This was a Senate bill 065, mobile electronic devices in motor vehicle driving, and in that bill, ham radio operators are exempt from that, along with CB radios, commercial two-way radios, things like that. So amateur and ham radio devices are exempt from that. So do be careful when driving, but we are still kind of exempt from that. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Let me drop for a moment. Sorry, we had HPS in the chat here mentioning stubs that are quarter wave, low frequencies. Those become too long to be practical. 20 meters would be around 16 feet. I'm not exactly sure what that is in reference to, but if you have any other follow-up on that, Brian, or anyone else on notch filters or anything else on that, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
KM4 CFT.
Yeah, CFT, Jonathan, go ahead.
KM4 CFT, the best way to think of a stub match is that you have your coaxial line, and basically what you do is you have like a little split off, and it just, with the stub match, you have a length that's just going off in a random direction, and then at the end you either leave it open or you short it, and what happens is it acts like a filter. The name of the calculations done for that is called Kuda's identity, or Kuda's, and what's called a Richards transformation. Something you learn in RF engineering classes, but basically it causes you to turn transmission line into basically an LC circuit, and it can do certain things. But it's not really practical until you start getting into microwave levels, because otherwise the transmission line is so long that it doesn't really work. Because usually you want these to happen at 8th wavelengths, at least for the bandpass filter type designs. I don't know if it's different for notch filters, but yeah, you can do it for 20 meters. It's just usually so long that it's impractical. Back to net.
Oh, gotcha. I see. Thank you for confirming on that. All right, CFT, Jonathan, really do appreciate the follow-up on that. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. It is 8:33 p.m. Mountain Time. We usually end around this time. I'll see if I have anything else I can bring up, but I'll throw it out to the net. Any other, this will be kind of the probably second to last call for comments, questions, check-ins. Second to last call. We're taking all comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'm seeing if I have anything else here last minute I can bring up, but anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, let me see. Let me follow up with some club business, and I'll throw it out to the net for last minute comments, questions, check-ins. So more information on our club, w0tx.org. If your membership ends next month, you may have received an email saying your email address changed. Please disregard that email. Your email address has not changed. We are in the process of testing a new membership process, and some emails were accidentally emailed out to about a dozen people. So do apologize about that, but no changes are required from your end for membership. I am hoping that by July, we will be using a new membership system. So please be on the lookout. We will be sending instruction emails on how to use it and what to do. It's basically just a little bit more of an automated process for processing your payment. So please be on the lookout for that.
Woohoo!
Yes, exactly. This is K1 DBC Net Control. That's exactly what Kathy Vilhauer, our club membership chairperson, is saying as well. So she is going to love this, and it's going to work a lot better for everyone else. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess mentioning that. Why do I keep missing this? w0tx.org/officers. Do thank everyone for their participation. Again, as mentioned, Kathy Vilhauer, N0CRZ. She's looking to step down from the club treasurer, membership chairperson. So if you'd like to help with that, this new process should help a lot. It is not in effect yet, but let us know if you would like to help. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. What else? Over on our website. Again, w0tx.org. As we've mentioned, we kind of have an informal luncheon on third Wednesday of the month at 1997 Wadsworth Boulevard in Lakewood, 11:30 a.m. So check that out, Valley Inn Restaurant, if you would like to hang out, 11:30 a.m. For an informal face-to-face meeting. Couple more things here. Again, as we mentioned, Field Day, ARL Field Day, coming up on the 22nd and 23rd. We thank everyone who helps with that, especially our current coordinator, Dick, N6WHV. He's doing an awesome job. More information on our club website, w0tx.org/Field Day, or under Events and Field Day. The equipment that we'll be using, the setup that will be out there, where it will be taking place, and a lot more. So if you have any questions on that, there's some pretty good information on there. One last thing to note, our upcoming meeting is the third Wednesday of the month as well. So that is going to be next week, the 19th. It is a presentation this month, Pico Balloons by Matt McMahon. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I keep screwing it up. W0U2U. And it's call sign WU2V. Matt's, he's going to be giving a presentation on Pico Balloons. And really a great presentation because during our field day, I think we're going to be launching one of these as well. So just a small balloon that's tracked through APRS or other ham radio means. So he has a lot of background and really cool stuff. So yeah, check that out on our website. All right, Matt McMahon, I think. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I will throw it out to the group last minute. Any last minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's Learning Net, please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Appreciate everyone who's checked in here. We appreciate our club for allowing us to use their repeaters. Again, check us out if you've enjoyed this conversation over on our social media, w0tx.org/Discord. You can continue the conversation throughout the week. What else here? Drop. We had a total of 17 check-ins. We do appreciate everyone who's checked in, everyone who's able to help out as an Elmer or just providing any feedback or comments or questions. Really do appreciate that. Again, third Wednesday of the month, that'll be next week, 6 p.m. for an Elmer session. This is just very similar to this, just a general Q&A. And then at 7 p.m. for our meeting. Again, w0tx.org for more information on that. With that, this is K1 DBC, K73. Everyone have a good evening. I am clear. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me.
KF0FPI, this is Kilo Echo 0 for Bravo.
everyone. Thank you all for being here. We will talk to you next time.